Hi, Saturday, November 28th, Jay Shelton here, in my condo. This isn't a normal music video, and I know a lot of you probably won't even want to watch this one, and I don't blame you if you're not into guitars. But I've had several requests to show my guitar collection, and that's something I've wanted to do. So, this is going to take a while, but if you're interested, I'll be happy if over the next 2 weeks I can get 100 views. I don't expect a lot of people to stay and watch it. I will play a little music. I decided the song that I'm going to carry through the guitars is my favorite of all the ones I co-wrote was Crow Flies. 89 wrote that with the Reunion Face Cookies. Myself, Dave Rufo, Jeff Kosoff. I've told the story on here before. This song's all over the place with different bands on my channel that I was with. They just started playing like this. And I started singing some words out, and they stuck just like it was. Anyway, this is the Rickenbacker. This one, I know you've seen them all before. It's going through the Fender amp. This is from 1986. It was Jeff Kosoff bought it in '86, my old bandmate. And he's taking care of it, and we just both love the industrialness of this. It's like those like 50s, 60s appliances that would just last forever. It just feels substantial when you play it. It's not the heaviest, but it just feels strong. It feels solid. And this is, of course, the Byrds, and then Tom Petty. And, of course, a lot of the early Beatles played the Rickenbacker, the 12-string. And it's got that zingy sound. This, along with the dual jet Gretsch, are the ones that I consider just. It's almost like I feel like you have to have some kind of reverence when you play them, because they can do so many things, and you don't want to come at it and be lazy, and you don't want to come at it and be not good enough when you play one of these guitars. So hopefully I've come through. This afternoon, I'd straighten my ways of crow flies. Anyway, Rickenbacker. So this was Jeff Kosoff's. Some money was owed, some deals were made, some payments were made, and I ended up getting this earlier this year. And I love it. It's hard to pick. They're all my favorite guitar when I'm playing them, it seems. So here, let me just turn that off every time I switch. So that's the Rickenbacker. A nice blue color. It came in two colors in '86. This is the classic 360. It came in this, and it came in a fiery red, like a sunburst almost. They both look great. I'm happy to have this one, but would have been happy with the other one. The other thing, this was when they still gave you those solid cases over here. This big rectangular thing, not plastic. It's I don't know what it is. It's like some wood and other things. It's got a lot of storage space in there. So, with that, let me carry on with the acoustics now. My first guitar, I first started playing guitar in 8th grade. I took guitar class at school, and I liked it, and I learned the 4 or 5 chords actually, the ones everybody learned. Could play Tom Dooley, and I liked it. So my mom went out and bought me acoustic guitars, probably pretty cheap, not that cheap. I mean, it seemed nice to me. It was very decorative, but it probably wasn't very good. But it sounded good. At that level, it sounded great. And I wish I still had it. What happened was, when Donnie and Zoltan came over one time, they started playing with it, and they broke the pegs off. And I didn't think that was something you could fix. I didn't know that was like a $10, back then probably $2 job to fix, right? And I just let that go eventually, that guitar. I didn't think you could, I didn't know. Anyway, and I did take some lessons at Manny's Music Shop. They were very dry and very note-oriented, and I never learned much from him. But at least my mom made the attempt, and she got me into it. Anyway, so The next guitar I owned was this one, 89. I had moved back to Connecticut from California with Kossoff, and we were in Connecticut. I was staying with my mom, was looking for a place to live. I was staying with my mom and Roy, and get a job, and I did get a job at the Jewish Community Center and found an apartment pretty quick, or a house to share. And Kossoff bought this at a music store in downtown Norwalk, Connecticut, this Alvarez. The Alvarez, Regency. Wonderful guitar. It was like $100. It was on sale, and this was 1989. So this guitar we've had for 31 years. And when he gave it to me, I could play, but I couldn't really play. And I'd been writing songs with the Face Cookies, but my playing was limited. He said, "This is the guitar you're going to learn to play on," and he was absolutely right. Up until I got the Martin. That Martin I got played about 5-6 years ago, and there was a little spell where I really liked to play this Ovation. This was the guitar I wrote all my songs on, all my Zombie World, and so many of the ones for many years. So it's overshadowed now by a better acoustic, but I fixed it. I adjusted the truss rod myself recently. I finally had the nerve to do that, and it sounds so much better. This afternoon got straight in my way as the crow flies, tacking up again in a dark shell, not knowing why. I went to the west and it wasn't enough, and I stayed in the east and it got pretty tough, and I don't know as the crow flies. You bleed so much and stuck in your head, and you wake in the morning wishing you were dead, but you can't be. No, you can't be. And the Alvarez, still like to play it now and then. It's good to play out of nostalgia. It sounds good. I think I didn't do the truss rod enough. I think you have to hold it for like a day because it's starting to slip again. But it's fun to play. It's just that why would I pick this when I've got the Martin? It's just everything this is but stronger. And so let's look at the Martin. I've known I wanted a Martin for it's been 16 years now. When I was in London one day, and I didn't know anybody, and I was in a good time. I was having fun, but I was didn't really have an agenda. So I was going to a lot of museums, and I stopped by this music store in the same place the great comic book store was. What's that place called? Not St. Mark's. That's in New York. Charing Cross Road, yeah. And I was in there, I was playing guitars, and I went downstairs, and the downstairs was all acoustic, and one section of the downstairs was all Martin. And I started playing Martins, high-end guitars, like the Taylor would be the other one, acoustic. And I just started playing, and I ended up staying there for an hour and a half just alone playing Martins. And I left that basement saying, when I get back to America, eventually I'm going to get a Martin. Probably about 7-8 years later, I did. And I didn't know which one to get. But so I went to a room, the Guitar Center here in San Jose, and I just didn't look at the prices, didn't look at the brands. I didn't look at I knew the brands that were on Martins, didn't look at the model numbers, and just started playing until I found one I liked. And it turned out to be the D18, which was, that along with the D28 are their two most popular models. And this has been my go-to acoustic guitar, and I've also adjusted the truss rod in this. You bleed so much from your stomach in your head, and you wake up in the morning wishing you were dead, but you can't be. And the track seems so long, it's the only time you feel like you're halfway up in the line. As the crow flies. Anyway, and it came with, and it's my probably my second to my most pricey guitar is this one, and it came with this nice big Martin case. It's got a really nice metal Martin tag on it. It looks old and distinguished and all that. And I bought this suede strap specifically for this, so this stays with this guitar. And I have a lot of straps that I just use for various guitars, but there's a couple that I like to keep exclusively for specific guitars, for no other reason than it's what I decided. So this suede one goes with this, and it gets packed away nicely with it in the nice case. Other acoustics I've had, I once had a Washburn 12-string. It was a beautiful guitar when I was in Connecticut. It was everything was gold. It was wood, but like all the attachments were gold. And it was a 12-string, and it just was sounded so wonderful. And it would zing. It was like heavenly. Not that I believe in heaven, but it was heavenly. And oh, I loved it. And I had to sell it at one point in Connecticut when I was up for down on my luck. I needed some dough. I sold that, and I sold the Strat, which is another story. I'm gonna get another 12-string someday, maybe a Taylor 12-string. But it was really fun. It was good, and it had a beautiful case. It was wood with this red fur lining. Really nice guitar. I should have sold it for more. And then here. So then the most recent acoustic I got. And I only got this because I couldn't believe I saw Gretsch going for as cheap as it was. But again, these times are weird. People getting rid of things. So this was, I mean, when I say cheap, I mean really, really cheap. So this is the one I've been playing a lot lately. The Gretsch, I can't forget all the words. I can remember all the words here. It's the Gretsch Rancho Falconer Jumbo White Electric Acoustic, because it's an electric and acoustic. You can plug it in and play it or not. It's got a built-in tuner. And I love it. I just love the way it's so ornate and gaudy. It almost looks like cheap, but it's not. I mean, it's like I said, it's cheap for what it is, but it's not a cheap guitar. It's a Gretsch, and Gretsch are never cheaply made guitars. They're beautiful guitars. It didn't come with a case, which is another reason it was so cheap. So I did buy an authentic Gretsch case to go with it. But you know, you have to take off the strap attachments to fit it in the case, or else you have to almost stab it into the working of the thing. But I love this thing. It's just so big, and it just feels fun when you play it. It doesn't sound as good as the other two. So you plug it in, it sounds great. I won't do that now. But it's just the size and the gaudiness are fun. And you're rolling in the grass and you're walking down the road. Another day laughing, another day gone. And you're older as the crow fly. And you bleed so much your stomach in your head. And you're waking in the morning wishing you were dead. But you can't be. No, you can't be. Anyway, so that's the acoustic. The other acoustic I had is I had this Ovation. You know, those were the kind of the thing in the 80s for a while. They were very thin acoustics with this plastic rounded back. If you watch some of the vintage concerts I put up on my channel of Paul Johnson, the band I was in, I played that a lot. I love that thing. I love the way it would zing. I played it amplified. I didn't find out till recently that Kossoff didn't really like the sound I was making on that thing, but he certainly played with me long enough with me having that. And the thing is, I don't remember selling it. I don't know what happened to it. I had it in California. In California, I moved to Connecticut or something, and it just, to upstate New York, it just disappeared. So I don't know, did I leave it in storage? Did I give it to somebody? I did abandon one storage of, I thought, just an old mattress. Maybe that was in there. Somebody out there, do you have it? Do you have it? I'd love to think it still exists. I love that guitar, an Ovation. They were kind of mocked. They were kind of considered kind of cheesy, this hybrid acoustic electric at the time, but I thought it sounded great. I thought it felt great. I liked everything about it. That, the 12-string, and that original one, those were all my other acoustics I've had in my life. My mom's got a little acoustic that she's been playing. I think it's a Yamaha or something she wants to give me. It's in Florida, and the last one was there. I forgot to take it. So I will have another little one around. She doesn't want to play it anymore. So that was the Gretsch acoustic, so we might as well stick with Gretsch. Hang on, everybody. And of course, along with the Rickenbacker, the other one that just, like I said, I feel awe when I'm playing. And how I got this one is another crazy story. Look at this nice case, Gretsch case. Beautiful. I show this off last time. Look at this thing. This is insane. Everything is top of the line here. You got the gold pickups and everything. It's got the dual jet. It's got, this is called the Bigsby. It's a whammy bar. You know, just like you'd get the little one on the Strats. I'm going to show you later. But this one's proprietary. It can go on any guitar, but it has to be credited as being Bigsby. Just everything. It's the 57 model, and I think I've said on here before, it's just like George Harrison used to play, only his was black. And I love this thing. I love the sound of it. And it looks a lot like a, you know, and it looks very similar to the Les Paul, but it's not quite as heavy as a Les Paul. I mean, it's heavy, but it's substantially less than a Les Paul because it doesn't hurt my back to play. The only negative is if you're using the Bigsby, it goes out of tune very quickly. Here's the master. You know, I would think of making this my go-to guitar if it wasn't for the fact that it went out of tune so quickly, because it's just so great to look at. It sounds so great. The way I got this, I saw it being offered for sale. Now, it's not a 1957, it's a reissue. A real 1957, especially in this condition, would cost. I can't even imagine what that would cost. But this was a remodel reissue, but, you know, done just the exact specs. About, I think it's, 8 years old. And it was bought by an investment by a photography company. And they were selling it, I guess, during the pandemic. They needed money. So they had it up there for a price which I thought was pretty reasonable. And I had no intention of buying it. So just for the fun of it, I made an offer at like just a little over half of what they were asking, which was already, if you looked around, and the next thing I know, they took the offer. So I ended up buying this at a really good price. I mean, I still paid for it, don't get me wrong. As the crow flies away, same goes stop and stay. That's the Gretsch. Really, you know, maybe my favorite. Again, they're all my favorite when I play them. It's hard to pick. All right. So, excuse me, let me put this back in its case. And so, one cool thing about the Gretsch, I don't even know why they threw this in as part of the deal. I didn't ask for it or anything, but they threw in 2 extra of those hand-wound humbucker pickups, which are very expensive on their own, and gold just like that. And they gave me an extra bridge. So what I'm going to do is, I've always started pricing them. I'm buying a body of a 70s Gibson Les Paul, and that's completely hollowed out, has no electronics in it, no metal at all. I'm going to put those in it. It fits, and I figured out for like less than, for less than a total of $500, with getting all the little parts. And I know somebody knows how to solder, or it'll help me. And I'm going to get the conductive paint, and so I'm going to do a better job with the electronics inside than it normally would have. I'm going to have, for like less than $500, and using those pickups, I'm going to have like what amounts to like a $3,500 guitar. So I'm working on getting those parts as I can, little by little at auction and such. Well, as well keep going with Gibson stuff then, since I started talking about Gibson. Well, there's my Les Paul. Oh, sorry, well that was okay. And this one came in case, and this one I bought online. And this is the one I did bid down, and it's, again, because I got it during the pandemic, so it was a lot less than it could have been. But still, it was one of the ones that were kind of pricey and so heavy. And this is the classic Les Paul. You know, the ones that go for $1 million or so are the ones from 57, 58, or at least $400,000. 57, 58. This one's 76, standard. And boy, is it heavy. It can hurt your back. And talk about specific. One thing I forgot to tell you about that Rickenbacker, and it has 2 plugs. It has a stereo plug, but it doesn't seem to work, the stereo one. And Cost was even kind enough to give me a stereo cord. But anyway, I bought this special leather almost like saddle, official Gibson strap I used with the 2 Gibsons, mostly this Gibson. The problem is this metal thing does kind of dig in your back while you play. But this is also the one I like to go to open G tuning or open E tuning, and I like to use the slide on. I'm not doing that right now. But this is the classic, you know, Dwayne Allman, you know, who else? I mean, so many great guitarists. Jimmy Page, you know. Many more. It's that big, heavy, thick sound. Again, and I know it's the true rock and roll, but it'll never be my go-to guitar just because it's so heavy. Maybe if I was like one of those huge guys, weightlifter guys. I bought this for a guy that collects vintage Gibsons. He had 27 Les Pauls. This is just one of them. I like the fact that it was a little beat up from real touring, you know. The keys had been replaced, you know. And like with most collectibles, you don't care if there's wear and tear and replacements if it happened in the normal life of the guitar back in its older or original days. You still want things that were changed later. And the humbuckers were replaced, and they actually gave me the old ones, so I still have this, which can be used to put to another guitar. Okay, here we go. Getting the big sound. There we go. So the one I want to build is to picture this with just the wood, down to the wood, you know. And I'm going to leave it that way, just the wood. It's all maple. This one is maple and crap. What's the other one? I don't remember. This one. The other one's gonna be solid. No, it's gonna be maple. This one is. Oh, geez, I'm getting all mixed up now. Forget it. But they made the Les Paul. You know, the classics from the 50s were either the gold top or the sunburst, and I did want one of those, but I think the blood red's pretty cool too. When I saw what it was, and I love the way the white ages to this kind of yellowed look. You know, authentic aging. I'm hoping the Gretsch does that, but I think it's a different kind of material. Okay, so. Now the other Gibson I have. Excuse me a second. Is the SG Junior. Next to the Alvarez, this was the most inexpensive guitar I had. Really, it was just, I couldn't believe the guy was letting it go for what he was, but he was. And you know, it came in this pink fur-lined thing, you know, so. This is only like, from like 2012. It's not like during the disco era or the new wave. I don't know what this is all about, you know, because the outside of the case is, you know, that typical old rugged, but that's normal. It's not fake. That's the way they were doing it then. Anyway, it's like the SG itself, but lighter. Remember? Why would you remember? I never played it on film, but I had an SG. The shape is the same basically, except it's got the glossy finish, and it's more of, it was a fiery red, like a burgundy red. And this is like the wood red. And also, it's even rounder on the edges. That one I gave to my nephew Cassidy when he got old enough to, when he showed he was playing seriously. So he still has it, albeit with a broken headstock, but he glued it back together. So, you know, I kind of missed it. So I saw SG Junior. I said, what's that? I got it. You know, it's not a Junior. It's not like it's a mini one. It's lighter, yeah. But it's got the full 24 frets. It's got dual pickups. They don't all have it, but this one does, the humbuckers. It's as powerful as any Gibson. You know, these were made to replace the Les Paul, which were so heavy. This, you know, I said this about a few of them, but this almost could be my everyday go-to guitar. It's just so light and smooth and just easy to operate, but it's got a full sound. Sorry, I can never seem to shut that off all the way on there. I can make it go, you know. Anyway, there's the SG Junior. Someday I'll get the full SG again. Right now, this is great. Yeah, there is a difference. That one feels heavier and more substantial. They look similar, but that one, like I said, is glossy. But this one, I think, has got a more of a punch to it. You know who plays the Junior is I think he's still alive. Yeah, Leslie West. Okay, there's that. That's all the Gibsons. So that doesn't leave much. It leaves the Fenders, right? That's all it leaves. So let's take a look at what we got with the Fenders. Well, of course, this is the first electric I had in this bunch here. It's actually, if you don't count the acoustic electrics, it's only the second electric I ever bought. The one before this was also a Fender, but that was a Telecaster. I'll get to that. Yeah, I tried the Stratocasters. Everybody talked about the Stratocaster. You know, they're both by Fender. Difference is Stratocaster is a little longer in the body, a little thinner, a little lighter. It's got a little more of a, I guess, cleanliness to it, maybe. I don't know, this is pretty clean too. But I love this. I first tried a Telecaster back in the 80s. Kossoff had one at his house, and he left me alone to play it once. I forget what he was doing. And I loved it, just the way it, and all I can say is that, I've said this before, it feels like butter when you're playing a Telecaster. It's just so versatile and it moves with you. Really great guitar. You know, I had wanted to get one of those fully wood ones like Kossoff had, or like Richards has, or Springsteen, Townsend I saw play, where it really feels like you're part of the wood. But then I saw this color, I go, that's really cool, I don't see that much. So I don't know how much, it must make some difference having this veneer over it, not going directly into the wood, but I still love the sound. So this, along with that SG we just looked at, are the guitars that I just feel really comfortable with. I just feel like you do anything with. Let me put it up at different settings. So I bought this probably around, I guess, maybe a little more than that. About 6 years ago. Love it. Didn't come with a case, so I just have a gig bag for it. You know, one of these days I might buy a proper case with it, but the gig bag works fine. It's got a lot of compartments in it. And I don't know if I have room for any more hard cases. So if you're gonna get a Tele, I guess eventually you have to get another Strat. So I did. I put off getting a Strat for a long time because I had such a bad experience back in '89 when I really wasn't ready to play guitar. I wasn't playing that well. I just got the Alvarez and I had the 12-string. I was doing okay in the acoustic, but I bought a Stratocaster, this big blue one. Somewhere we have a film of me playing it in New Orleans, not New Orleans, Memphis on the Southern Tour. And here, I never got the hang of it. It didn't feel right. I just didn't know enough about how to play an electric different than an acoustic at the time. So I ended up selling it when I sold that 12-string Washburn. And I never really regretted selling that. But the more I thought about it, I just kept thinking, well, I don't like Strats. And finally it hit me, that was 30 years ago, and I really wasn't that good a player, even though I was in my late 20s or mid-20s. You know, maybe I should get one. So I saw these Strats going second hand. They were a limited edition. I got one, you know, I only bought one. I said I sell them because they came in 3 colors. They came in this red, burned red. There was a blue and an amber. You really can't see the red here, but they were sandblasted. So, you know, there's got all this grooves and textures in the wood. It makes it a lot lighter too because the wood's just been blown off it. So it's another light guitar. And I find I really like the Stratocaster now. It's similar to the Telecaster, but a little more, I guess, showy, a little more bendy maybe. I don't know. And it comes with a place to put the whammy bar. I didn't get that out right now. It's in the case. It's so frail compared to the Big B. I don't find myself using it that much. Bigsby, I mean. But this is a cool guitar. It's my only guitar that has 3 sets of pickups on there, right? Let's hear. And it's a really cool strumming guitar too, you know, for an electric guitar. You know, you can do your leads, right? It's not that way here. Let me get my tone up. But it works as a strumming guitar too, right? Afternoon, got straight my way as a crow flies. Packing up again on a dog shell, not knowing why. Went to the west and it wasn't enough to stay in the east. Got me tough and I don't know. Let me put the tone up here now heavy and go for a whole different sound here. Stratocaster, but the other one, I didn't have that long and I barely played. Okay. Yeah. There we go. So the last guitar I'm going to show you, I know we're at an end here, can you believe it? I am going to build one. Ooh, I forgot to turn it off. And next year I am going to buy that ES335. That's another Gibson. And that's the last I have my sights on for a while. And I'm going to build that other Gibson. And I'll make videos about those. And but to finish it off, it is a Fender, but not directly a Fender. You know, Squier was a company that, I guess they've been around since the 60s, I don't know, maybe earlier, but they would do knockoff Fenders, so just like Epiphone would do knockoff Gibsons. And what Fender did, the smart thing is they bought them, and they've been a profitable branch of Fender, even when Fender has not been. And so here's a Squier bass. I'm not much of a bass player. Beautiful piece, beautiful maple. And like I said, I play bass like I'm playing guitar. I really don't know what I'm doing. You know, because I can play guitar, and the bass strings are just tuned like the top 4 strings of guitar. I just play it like I'm playing guitar and missing 2 strings. But someday I'm gonna learn how to really play it. But that's enough to get by. Maybe that's all bass needs to be. If you look at the great bass players, they're pretty disparate in what they do. And I mean, look what Phil Lesh does, and look at like John Entwistle, and it's like they're hardly even playing the same instrument, you know. Anyway, nice one again. This one I have a real nice gig bag for. It's like thick and heavy, and it has so many compartments, and I think it could run over by a truck. It would be okay in the gig bag. But anyway, there's my bass. And just because I like the wood so much, another one I bought a specific strap just for this guitar was this really heavily knit Rastafarian strap, and I think that the whole ensemble is pretty cool. Anyway, I imagine, how long did that, it was 40 minutes. I imagine that's pretty boring. Yeah, like I said, I'll be surprised if anybody makes it to the end. Anyway, that's my collection. Hope somebody liked it. Fade to black.